Welcome to Java Space. In this video, we are going to talk about interface projection. So in the previous video, we talked about entity projection, whereby we are returning all the attributes of an entity. But as I said, there is a requirement where you want to limit the columns or the result of the queries to only focus on selected attributes of the aggregate root entity. And you can do so by declaring an interface that exposes accessor methods for the properties to be read. So assuming we only want to list employees based on names only. Okay, let's go back to, so here we have ID, name, first name, last name, and address. But there are situations where you're just interested in these two. All right. So we just want names only. We are not interested in other attributes. We first have to define an interface. As we see here, we have interface names only. Then we say string get first name, string get last name. The way, like the names of these so-called methods must match the accessor names of your root entity. So interface methods define the name of the projection column, alias, and the type that needs to be used to cast the projection column value. Behind the scene, the query execution engine creates a proxy instance of each, creates proxy instances of this interface for at runtime for each element returned. So what do I mean by that? In here we have 1, 2, 3. It means you're going to have 4 proxies, because we are saying for each element that is returned, you have a proxy. The call comes to a proxy, then the proxy forward the calls to the exposed methods of the target object. The important bit here is that the properties defined here exactly match the properties in the aggregate root. So if we come here, if we see this, we have first name, last name. And because we are using Lombok, this will translate this to get last name as a getter. And the other one, it will translate it to get, it uses camel case, first name. And these methods are the very same methods that we have here. So they should match exactly. If they don't match, the query engine or the execution engine will not be able to do the correct mapping. So now let's see this type of projection in code quickly. So this is the one I'm talking about, in employee repo, entity project, interface projection, sorry. So in my controller, I'm gonna use that one, interface projection. All right, so what do we have in here? We have now we are observe now we are no longer returning an employee, which is a root managed entity. We are returning an interface, which I explained that a proxy will be generated for you. All right, so now that means in here we will have to change our return type to names only. And here, this one we can leave it because we did not we didn't override this method, or we didn't specify this in our repo. It's fine, because this is the one that is generated for us by the by the framework. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is gonna say dot find last name. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back. Let me close this. Let me close this thing so they don't disturb me. I'm gonna close all of them. Okay, so let me come here. So I'm gonna say first name containing. All right, that's fine. Find by first name. Okay, find by first name. You can do the same here. Find by first name. Let's see. All right, here we can use this one. It's fine. Containing on the search. All right. So look, this was our previous result that came back to us. Let's observe what we get now. Look at that. We just have name, first name and last name, which is our own selected columns. We don't want everything, which is what we meant by just partial views. We don't want everything. And we called this this method here. So let's call this one here. So in here we have names. Okay, so what we can do is I'm gonna come back to my DE. I'm gonna remove this search, replace it with names. Okay, we still get the same thing because we are basically coming here, then it's coming to fetch this, sorry, to call this, and it returns this to us. Or if you want, look at what happens if you want to use interface projection with JPQL. All right, so let's try this one. You want to see what the result looks like. So I'm just gonna put this method here. All right, let's go back to the code, and then I'm gonna call. Look at that. The results are there, but they are just nulls, which means that the query engine is unable to map first name and last name to this method in the interface.